Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find more episodes on any major podcasting platform such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and even on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to follow and like Spoiler Force Podcast on Facebook.
What's up, everybody? This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men. Listen, I have a podcast studio. I do multiple podcasts. I listen to Kevin Smith's podcast. Those podcasts don't matter. The only podcast that matters, Spoiler Force Podcast. They record in Michigan, my friends. And if that's not an indication of how awesome this podcast is, my man Ricky Veng, the host, he's Asian. So that's all you need to know. I love the Spoiler Force Podcast. Listen to it, subscribe to it, like it, download every episode, and then do all that all over again because I love Ricky and I love the Spoiler Force Podcast. This is Ming Chen. I love you, Ricky. I love Spoiler Force Podcast. Listen to it, everybody.
All right, man, this is episode 67 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. As you can see, this week's guest, I have more than just 2 to 3 people. I have a whole room. This is the California Conventions blog group. I am so glad to have you guys on the podcast. I just wanted to say how I got you guys on here. That is actually through the Anime Expo Light stuff that was going on last month in July. Matt actually reached out to me and yeah, so we just started messaging each other on Facebook, and then we set it up, and here we go. I got you guys all on. For the listeners and for anyone who's watching, can you guys just introduce yourselves, and then we'll just continue on from there.
Yeah. I'm Dalton, the newest member of the California Conventions blog. How's it going?
My name is Nathaniel, or you can just call me Nate Natividad. The second youngest, because I just got added on a couple years ago. So yeah.
My name is Ryan Edward Silva. I am the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I'm from Oregon, formerly of California, but I'm the Pacific Northwest manager. I'm also the co-editor-in-chief and lead photographer for the California Conventions blog. I am the second in charge and second to be a part of the blog, next to my good friend and my boss, to my right, Matthew Miranda.
Yes, I am Matthew. I am the founder editor-in-chief of the California Conventions blog.
It's great, man, to have like a whole blog here. Originally, I was just gonna have Matt on the podcast, and then Matt was like, "Let me bring up my team so we can all just talk and stuff." So I was like, let's do it. The more, the merrier. And here you guys all are. The first things first, man. I just wanted to talk to you guys about like how you guys all start, because when Matt and I were exchanging messages on Facebook, he was like, "I've been doing this blogging stuff for over 15 years now," which I find super impressive. To still keep doing this kind of thing, like 15 years ago, this whole podcasting and blogging stuff wasn't even that big yet, and now with how social media has kept improving and how it's always changing, this kind of stuff's getting really hot now. So it's perfect for all of us really to create content and to keep pushing out our material out. So how'd you guys start this group?
It's kind of a funny story, and me and Matt tend to go back and forth about how we really all got started, but I like to think it started like within the last 10 years. Matt debates and says it's the last 12 years, but I'll go ahead and let Matt start off with the story since he started the whole thing.
So this dates back to FanimeCon 2007, my first ever Fanime that I ever attended. What happened was up to that point, the only other convention I had gone to was either a SAC Anime or a SAC Con. And this was my first opportunity to go to FanimeCon, thanks in part to a local community college and their anime club. So I decided, wouldn't it be cool if somebody wrote up something about like what happened at a convention and have photos and have video. So I decided I was going to start a blog. But at first it wasn't called the California Conventions blog. It was actually had my last name on it. So it was the Miranda's FanimeCon blog. And I did 2007 with that. And then came SAC Anime Summer 2007, and I started a parallel blog called the Miranda's SACCon /SAC Anime blog. So I went for that through 2008. Continued to go to SAC Anime and FanimeCon, and then we get to 2009. Around 2000, around that period, I actually got a cease and desist order from FanimeCon.
What? What? What did you do?
Well,
It's a true story, believe it or not.
Yes, it's a true story because they thought that my blog was the official blog of FanimeCon.
So did you just okay? So you abruptly just
Okay.
went out there and just said, "Hey, I'm the official fanime blogger."
Yeah, well, nobody knew because it had FanimeCon names attached to it.
Oh,
So
so they
had-
automatically assumed.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm guessing the way you put up the page was that there's fanime stuff everywhere, and everyone was assuming that you're the main fanime blog itself.
Yes. So I scrapped that, and I'm like, what name can I come up that would embody what I'm doing so far? So that's where I came up with California Conventions blog. And then what I did was I took both pages and I merged them together, and that's the page that we have today.
Now, were you only given a warning for doing that, for using the Fanime name?
I believe I was given a warning, but it gave me a good opportunity to rebrand at that point.
Okay.
So I decided, okay, let me just rebrand, and then we get to the part where me and Ryan dispute all this. So according to me, I had met Ryan in 2009 at FanimeCon when he was doing Oron and Gundam, and then I ran him again in 2010 at Anime Los Angeles with the SoCal Host Club. Ryan is telling me that I ran him in 08 and 09.
Well, see, my side of the story is that me and Matt both met at when we both ran the Oran High School Host Club gathering at Fanime in 08, and technically both our name were on the certificate, and that's how we kind of got to know each other. But then by the time 09 came around, we were still doing Oran for another year, and then of course that's when I was cosplaying as Hiryu, and that's how we took my photo. There's a pretty I don't want to say iconic, but a well-known photo among the community that of when there was like all the protesters, or at least the religious protesters that we're so used to seeing every year at con. So it's like he took a photo of me then, and then by the time then it's like me and my ex were running a real life host club, and one of our Moris unfortunately got really ill during the convention, and I ran into Matt, who I ironically was still wearing his blazer at the time. I'm like, I need a Mori fast, and not to mention also, I trust you. Plus, not to mention, you and I are good friends. We go way back. We've been on the forums for a long time. And he ran with it. So we ran the event, and then afterwards, it's like, thanks for covering. He's like, he came by and did the event. I thanked him for it, and also said thanks for doing coverage because I know that you run a blog. I'm like, have you ever thought about actually expanding out and actually trying to do press? And he was like. He was at the time like not really, but like he kind of wants to, and like I kind of at that point when I got to know Matt a little bit more, it's like I started giving him that push that he needed. It's like, hey, yeah, just kind of we're gonna do this con, or at least we're gonna try to. At least I want to be part of your blog. I want to help out. I mean, I've been pretty good at my journalism, or at least I did some journalism in junior high, and it's like, we're gonna go for this. And then from there on in, the rest is just history. We brought up more people. Nate came on board back in 2010.
I think it's around 2010. I remember quite fondly what happened. It was during the Oran High School Host Club gathering that I met Matt and Ryan, and ever since then, I think like that year I was just hanging out with my friends, but at the same time I met up with Matt and Ryan. We exchanged numbers, we exchanged social medias, then we just started chatting from there. And I think it was like either from that fanime or a couple of months after or a year after is when Matt brought me into the California Conventions blog. So that's how I got started here.
By the time then, things moved on. I moved away from California in 2011, and some internal bullshit happened. We don't really like to talk about it much, but by the time then, I moved to Oregon, and that's where I met Dalton. And Dalton and I have been good friends for the last 9 years. Yep. Dalton came on board last year, technically at CRX, and I'll let him go about that.
So yeah, like Ryan was saying, I met him back in like 2011, 2012. I was only 16 at the time. I'm the youngest out of the entire group. I'm 24, turning 25 this year. Basically what ended up happening is that as soon as I met Ryan, he was my anime, like, Jesus, I guess, if you want to call him. So like I was just roughly getting into anime at the point, or at the moment of the time that I was 16. I was very closeted about it. He basically literally ripped that like essence out of my body and like forced it upon me tenfold. So I'm now just a giant otaku. Yeah, that's basically what I was. So I was a closeted otaku. He brought out the freaking otaku in me, and now I'm just a weeaboo piece of shit. So I'm actually trash, dog. Like, I actually go on Faku, which is a straight up hentai website, and I purchase hentai apparel, and I wear it in public. I am straight up.
Be public about that.
I don't give a shit. I mean, like, I know what I like, but getting off of that tangent for a second and getting back on topic. Yeah. No, my first convention was roughly around like what, 2013? Was it for SAC Anime?
14.
No, yeah, it was Otakon Vegas and then SAC Anime afterwards, right?
No, dude, we did AX in 2012, or at least was it? No, it was definitely like 2012 or 2013, around that area.
No,
before we hit Otakon Vegas.
No.
No?
I know 2012 was when Ryan, Matt, and Ray were going to that convention, if I remember correctly.
I think I met you, Nate. I think I met you the first time over at Otakon Vegas.
Yeah, that was at 2014.
Yeah,
so it was 2014 that we went to Otakon Vegas, and then we went to AX right afterwards.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Yeah, so I can't remember if I did go to a convention before that, but if I did, I did. If I didn't, it's in the deep recesses of my mind.
Times during the summer.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. So I did go to a few before I went over to Otakon. I went over to SAC Anime just to like dip my foot into actually getting into anime conventions. Because when I first met Ryan, I was talking about like how much I wanted to go to an anime convention. Like I was like literally nonstop, not fucking like wanting to stop talking about going to one. And he's just like, you know what? How about this? Let me talk to Matt and let's just get you a freaking ticket for your birthday and we'll go there. And I'm like, wait, what? And not even within about, I think it was like a day, he's just like, yeah, you're going to fucking SAC Anime with us, fool. Get ready. And I'm like, I'm just like, what? Wait. I had to slow down for a second. I looked around. I looked back at my phone. Okay, what? Like, so after I went over to SAC Anime for my first time, I immediately fell in love. I couldn't stop freaking like going to places to like try. I had to try to get to conventions. And Ryan over here is not the type of guy that you want to tell you not to go, because he will actually tell you to go, because he's the type of instigator that likes to do that to me sometimes.
I might be our cons devil advocate, but
yeah, you are. I would agree completely. But and then after SAC Anime, Otakon Vegas came around, met Nate for the first time. Kind of had a little bit of a rough patch at that moment for some personal reasons. But I was young, I was dumb. We'll just say that I was not very responsible with my decisions. But as I became older,
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. As I became older, I fixed myself. I got my shit together, basically became an adult, and yeah.
I mean,
fixed it.
Not about rough patch. I mean, to be honest, I mean, 2014 Otakon Vegas was just more of us having fun, being at a convention, and also getting drunk in Vegas. So
yeah,
come on
for sure. I mean, like, it wasn't like that wasn't the main part of it. No, not at all. It was just like I felt bad.
Was it more of a personal issue or something? Or
yeah, it was a personal issue on my end.
Don't worry about that. It's all good. At least you're part of our team now. So
yeah, exactly.
So Dalton, we didn't dig you into like the big boy conventions until like I told you were ready, because like you wanted to go to AX right away, and I said you're not ready. There's no way.
No, and from what he showed me, some like behind the scenes footage or some footage from the blog itself, he a very iconic video was from
Hold up. Guys, how many times have we nearly died covering Anime Expo?
Oh, tons. Just tons.
yeah, so like I've witnessed this one. It's actually up on the YouTube channel right now.
Do you remember like 2013, the first time we tried to record the whole batch of people coming into the dealer's hall or exhibit hall is what Anime Expo calls it.
Get out of the way!
Get the hell out of the way!
I just remember Ryan's like, "Holy shit, get the fuck out of here!"
And
You guys were having like a camera and like recording people
Yes.
walking in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so Ryan, Matt, and I believe Nate were all up on the front of like at the top of the steps. From what I
We're on
remember,
the front
watching
lines,
this.
literally.
Yeah,
We
they're
were
literally
in the front
watching
lines.
people about to start like charging
And
up
right
the
as they're
steps.
cutting the ribbon, like literally, they cut the ribbon.
Cut the
and
ribbon, you just see
I don't know, like-
Stampede coming up, and all you
Yep.
hear is Ryan is like, "Oh shit, get the hell out of the way!" And then you hear Matt in the background screaming, "Run, run!" Like, and then you just see a sea of people coming up through the entire like freaking walkway of the stairs, and you're just like, people would have been trampled if they were
Right.
been standing there.
I think
was
2015
very-
would be like the worst one because I know the thing is what happened in 2015 was that we got press and we were able to take the photos of like opening ceremonies, like the ribbon cutting and everything. So once the ribbon got cut, then we had to go rush upstairs to where exhibit hall's doors are, and then I don't know, inexplicably just took a picture of just the whole entire crowd. And then the crowd of people started coming in, and I'm like, okay, we got to get the hell out of the way to the side here, or else we're gonna get trampled with all these people just rushing into exhibit hall.
I will have to say, out of the most iconic of like the ribbon cutting ceremonies is like when 2017 when me and Nate went, and they said, "Oh hey, since you guys are press, come on down to the main floor." Like,
Oh, that was
Let me
that year.
see.
I thought it was actually 2015. I was
2015. No, we were there 2015, but that's the time that you and I nearly died. 2013 is the day that me, you, and Matt nearly died.
right.
But no, 2017, we got invited down to the main floor. It's like, oh god, we're surrounded by everybody, and that's like probably like a good 5,000 people just trying to get into the exhibit hall as they're cutting the ribbon. Like,
Not 5,000
Okay.
people, more like 10,000 people. I mean,
5,
that
10,
crowd.
but, I mean,
That crowd has gotten through the doors, like to the front entrance doors of the whole entire convention, even the hallway itself. Like I could see a whole batch of people just crowding up, trying to get into exhibit hall.
I'm gonna
And-
move my mic down.
Piggyback
just to-
off what Nate was saying about teen. That was actually my first time going to Anime Expo. I saw the ribbon cutting, but I didn't like force my way into there. I just let like the crowd of people go first because there was no point of like trying to get stampede on.
Yeah, no.
My friends
Yeah.
just waited.
it's 10 times worse than a Walmart on Black Friday. I'll say that.
Yeah.
much.
Oh my fucking god, he said it. I was thinking it. He said it.
I went there on record, and that's all I have to say. I regret nothing.
All I know is that,
don't-
but
He
yeah,
did the do, guys. He did the do.
but if you want to pick up back on 2017, yeah, this is the first time we actually went down to the floor, actually saw in person the real whole ribbon cutting and everything. And yeah, we decided to be a part of that and almost got trampled. So that's what happened.
What do you guys think of like with Expo being so big now and like the lines going almost a mile out of the convention?
You know what? I think it varies by all between all four of us. I mean, like I've been going since 2002 when I was all the way back in Anaheim, and I'm a vet, so it's like dearly like just seeing it evolve over the years from Anaheim to Long Beach, from Long Beach the transition to LA, and then this big going to LA for the last good 10 years. It's like I almost think like it's worth it, but only if you have a big group to go with, because like otherwise, if you're going by yourself, it gets a little bit overwhelming, or at times it just feels like it's not worth it because you're having fun, but you're not having that fun that you could be having with, like, say, the rest of my blog mates or the rest of my friends that could be there that aren't there. That's just that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Like any giant convention like that, you need a team of people to go with. I usually just go to smaller conventions myself, but then like if it's like like Anime Expo or like in Michigan, if it's like Motor City Comic Con, you need a group of people to go. It's too hard to deal with like a lot of people, and then like fans are trying to get what they want. They're like show, and it's just all hell. Like conventions are, the people don't like who don't go to conventions, like they don't realize like all the hard work that goes into it, and just waiting in line and dealing with people, and
Yeah.
and sometimes you got to deal with people who like fucking stink shit.
Sometimes, yeah.
That sounds bad.
Dude.
It's worse when you know that there's like that certain AX or like Comic-Con exclusive that you have to go to a certain booth for, like Good Smile Company or like maybe Aniplex or one of the big industrial companies. It's like, oh god, there's only gonna be like 100, maybe 1,000 Snow Mikus this year, so like hurry up and get there, or else you're gonna miss out or get trampled trying to do so.
That's
if I would have to
that is all Good Smile there. I mean, like,
yeah,
I would imagine every freaking year, like for Anime X, but this Anime X was always the biggest thing for
not even AX. I mean, remember at SoccerCon, it was just as bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
that too.
SoccerCon was
Right,
bad,
right.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
if I had to describe my experience of the smell of con-goers, I would have to compare it to one item, and that would be canned sardines. It was really bad. It was like one day. No, okay. So it was the day that I was over at Anime Expo, right? It was you remember, Ryan, like I was by myself and I'm walking over to this panel that I want to go to. So I'm like going against the current. The entire fucking hallway was filled to the brim with people. You were literally going shoulder to shoulder, and you have to Assassin's Creed gentle push people out the freaking way to get where you need to go. So I come up to this dude and I'm like trying to squeeze past him, and all okay, I don't I don't have to. Like, it's the worst type of feeling to know that there's people that actually exist like that are stereotypes that normally people don't actually experience until you put yourself in that situation.
That's
because it's really bad.
Have signs at cons now. That's the exact
fucking
reason.
Wear deodorant. That's what they say. It's like I've even seen no joke. I think I've seen like out the corner of my eye, like one of the cosplayers actually, I think cosplaying as a fucking bottle of soap that says "Take a shower, you fucking weeb." I swear I've seen something out the corner of my eye of like that. I swear to God.
There's always going to be a person in every convention that doesn't shower. I swear to God, just shower. And I understand the whole deodorant also kind of helps as well, but seriously,
it helps,
shower.
but that does not count as a shower. You have to shower.
That's what I've been trying to say here.
Proper con etiquette. If you sweat at all within one day, you have to take a shower. It doesn't matter. You will take multiple showers in one fucking day if you have to, especially if you are wearing cosplay. I agree.
Yes, if I have to say, cosplay, especially on a hot weather like in LA, I would say, please go take a shower.
Dude, don't remind me, please.
Hey guys, I think a certain Del the Funky Homo Sapien song comes to mind, yeah? If you must.
I actually want to give a shout out to the Facebook page Sign Guy at the Con, because he has the best sign ever, which says, if you can afford to go to Comic-Con, you can afford a shower.
Yes. Yes, he goes around just parading that with big bold letters in a.
It's with that mask too, if I remember right.
Yeah. I think so. It's freaking great. I love it.
So I don't think we got Nate and Matt's comments yet. Guys, ideally, what's your thoughts on the lines and just going to a con now, or at least specifically AX or the larger like conventions?
It has gone. It has gone from just a fan con, kind of like what we see at like early on Fanime, early on SAC Anime, or a lot of cons. It's morphed into. We don't recognize it as a con anymore. It's a trade. It's a trade show.
Wow.
for Japanese media. And so again, I think I have to agree with Ryan, unless you're with a big group or your press, it is not worth it to stand online, especially if there's an earthquake.
Oh my God. 2018? Was it 2018?
2019 was last year.
Oh, it was last year. Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yes. There was that whole 7.0 earthquake, and I love how the coverage was, where apparently ABC of LA literally put a helicopter cam on the AX crowd, and they were thinking it was just people like leaving a building because of the earthquake
evacuating.
happened. Yeah, they're evacuating, and I'm like, no, that's not it. This is AX.
It's just a whole bunch of degenerates just sitting outside, dudes. I'm sorry to burst your butt. No, I'm joking.
Like happened mid-con when you guys were there?
No, I wasn't.
I think none of us were there.
No. None of us were there. I don't think. We were paying attention to it though.
Yeah, I've had that photo disputed because they also say that that's also a line for Shawn Mendes concert that was happening the same day.
Oh, so there's a lot of Shawn Mendes fans just waiting until the concert begins.
Well, yes. However, they dispute then is that the Shawn Mendes line had some cohesion. AX's line had no cohesion, so they were like, therefore, that's all AX.
Yep, exactly. To put my take on the whole AX line fiasco, I mean, it's just really getting worse and worse. I mean, from 2013 all the way, when I first went onto AX over 2013, it was just really tamed. Like, you could be at line like an hour or two before it opens, and then you'll get your badge in probably like an hour. But even with all of the new implementations of like a scanner to pretty much scan your badge and get your badge, it doesn't help because there's just so many people that are being registered. They don't cap AX, which is the wrong thing to do because it breaks fire code, it breaks a lot of things. Just a clusterfuck of people just continuing to be in AX, and I've lived with it for so long. Like, I went there in 2017 to watch a Awkward's concert. Same with the year before, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse. Trying to get your ticket, trying to get your badge, and all that stuff. And it's not fun to be in. Just to be in Anime Expo where just a bunch of people just come in and it just gets crazy now. It's just the fact about Anime Expo just being so clustered up now. What I gotta say for AX is that they really have to consider capping the con now. And I understand that a lot of Anime Expo fans are probably going to be so pissed about that, but it is what it is. Either you cap the con at the LACC or you head over to another building that actually can fill like over 100,000 people.
I still say they should go back to Anaheim. And honestly,
I mean that's a good option too. They should have done that, but they're not doing it because they have another contract with LACC. So they're going to be there for who knows how long.
I will leave it at this. I believe, at least in myself, that the era of the 100K Anime Expo is over.
Is it because of the whole pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was considering.
I think even if we go back to a quote unquote normal, I think that it's going to be it's just going to happen one way or another. But we can bring that up later in a different discussion.
Yeah, I think like with COVID too affecting these cons, it's making people more. I don't know. It depends too. It depends on the person, but it makes the majority seem to be more weary about it. They don't want to be too close to people, and then like even like venues for concerts are not even open yet, and not even like sports venues are open. So it's going to be pretty difficult for conventions to open back up and to bring people back in. But yeah, you guys have so much experience with these cons. Like, it makes me feel like I need to go out and do more stuff because I barely go to these conventions. And just to carry on with this topic, man, we were off screen before Ryan jumped back on. We were talking about like your guys' experience with like with Vegas and with all these other conventions that you guys had. Now, do you guys usually just go as a whole team as press, or is it individual sometimes?
Ideally, it just depends on who's available at what time. I mean, most of the crew are divided. We have my division, which is based here in Oregon, which is like technically like not even like 15 minutes from the border of California, but it's me and Dalton here for now. I've been trying to get more people for the Pacific Northwest division, but it just seems a lot of our friends are interested, or at least they'd rather just go as normal attendees. I try to give them the perks and whatnot, but
yeah, they're just not enthusiastic as much as Ryan and I are about the entire thing. So, but they express interest at the moment. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
It's good. It's good.
They express interest at the moment, and then, like most things, they tend to get burned out, and then they just forget. So, meh.
But ideally, it's just who's available at what time, or at least if we can all get the time off to all go as a group. I mean, most of us cover like a lot of the NorCal and SoCal like scene. since like that's kind of like where we all started. Lately we've been branching out of SoCal and going out to different conventions in different states. We've been to Nevada when it was doing Otakon Vegas and actually Anime Vegas back in 2011. 2010. We've branched out to Washington for SakuraCon. We've gone
Arizona.
Arizona for TaioCon, and then we've done KomoriCon in Portland as of last year.
Nice.
But ideally, we usually try to stick as a team and all go at the same time. If one or another can't come in, we'll call on one of our other comrades and we'll just all go. But ideally, the main team consists of Matt, myself, Nate, and Dalton. When Dalton can't make it, it's usually me and Nate, or the mixture of me, Nate, and Matt.
Yeah, there's also a couple of people that are not mentioned, that are not here with us right now. We have a person named Ray. He's based out of NorCal. Does a lot of anime.
Yeah, he's mostly at the Bay Area. So yeah, that's in my division here.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then we do have SoCal people. We
too,
it's Tally and Jericho, but they've been kind of dormant. Usually just going to ALA and AX, but of course the pandemic has kind of slowed things down for all of us.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that they do staffing a lot more now too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I think was it Jericho like a staffer at AX or something?
Jericho staffs for ALA now, and
ALA.
Tally, I believe, also staffs at ALA.
ALA.
Tally will not do anything AX related after like the last few years.
I staff ALA too, but anyways.
Yeah. And I staff Anime.
Wait, what?
Are you guys all freelancing? Is this just an independent group, or are you guys paying people to be part of?
Oh, I wish I got paid for this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I wish this guy would pay us.
This is it's pretty much like just out of our own like interest in it. Honestly, we're all very passionate about this type of thing, so it's kind of like just a humbling experience to go to the anime convention itself without really having to worry too much. You get added perks. That, I believe, in my opinion, is the payment. The experience of where I get to go and who I get to talk to, which with CRX, I was fucking like, I think I was as giddy as a little schoolgirl while I was over there.
I remember because I remember Dalton was absolutely having a blast over at CRX.
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely. Because not only did I get to meet like my hero band from when I was like fucking 14, maybe, when I first started watching Naruto, which was Flow.
Dude, Flow was an amazing concert.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the concert. I felt fucking terrible, but I can't wait to go to the one that's hopefully going to be happening at some point.
Oh my god, yeah, just
yeah, same. But yeah, and then meeting my
Save this one for later because we got a good topic on it.
Yeah, we got a good topic on that. That's a juicy detail we'll talk about later.
But anyways, no, I'll second what Dalton says. Like mainly, like I feel like we're not really in it for the money, or like we're not in it for like the major fame or anything like that. I mean, if we could go a little bit bigger, sure, it happens.
If it happens, it happens.
I'm in it for like just the experience, and overall, like over the years, I felt like our entire group has not only just gotten more like camaraderie, but just a lot of like we have a brotherhood among us. Like it's really, we have a really tight bond, and just knowing that we got to know each other and got to like really like commit to what we do and just have fun with it, and then just not to mention meet all these people, but also meet the voice actors, meet the artists, meet the creators, and not even just meet all the cosplayers, or at least even the famous cosplayers. It's just honestly, that's more than I could ever ask for out of this experience.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot about my phone.
Somebody forgot to turn off their home improvement. Tim Allen.
I got another story about that ringtone. I've got a story about that ringtone, but I can talk about that later. But yeah, I'm about to piggyback on what everybody's saying. I mean, when I got brought into the CaliCon blog around 2011, if I remember, That's when I started to, see how fun it is to be press. You have a free badge, you get all the perks of pretty much being at the convention, meeting up. Getting interviews with like the guests that you really want to see. Being in press for Anime Expo, I think was an absolute blast. Meeting up with as much guests as we can. There was a lot of guests that we wanted to see when we had press for Anime Expo, but I understand why a couple. Wait, what?
0 for 4 on Teddy Lloyd, by the way.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah, don't remind me either.
But just the fact that, and the other thing too is that when we go to these conventions, it's more like a travel vacation. Like, I didn't expect us to go to SakuraCon. I would say that would be the best convention experience I had with all of these guys, because this is a new territory we were going to go into. Like, we never been outside of our branches from the Pacific Northwest to, Pacific Northwest is Seattle, but I'm just saying, like, Oregon, California, Arizona, Las Vegas. We never been all the way up to Seattle until we hit up SakuraCon, and we had a blast there too.
Like, I loved SakuraCon.
Yeah, SakuraCon, we had a blast. We interviewed mostly everybody there. I can't believe we actually had the perks for that, and you could just see it in our videos over on YouTube. But I would say everything was organized well. We had a fun time in Seattle. We had a fun time over at SakuraCon. I would say really one of the best con experience I had, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this press team we have here.
Now, you guys talk about like being press for conventions. To qualify for that kind of stuff, I've tried to do that before here in Michigan, but I never qualified. But how long did it take you guys to start qualifying for press to get the badges and all the perks?
That's the funny part that we mentioned earlier. Like I said, this whole blog is just one big funny story. But once I gave Matt that initial push, he's had like some of the coverage prior before I came on board. But it wasn't till at least, what was it? Was it Second Anime or was it Fandom in 2010?
11.
No, it was actually Anime Vegas in 2010 that said, "Hey, we're a relatively new con, and we're doing one in Vegas." So it's like, you know what, Matt, your blog I think is getting good enough coverage, is getting enough reads. Why don't you try? And Matt's like, "Oh no, there's no way in hell we're gonna get in. There's no way some con in Vegas is gonna accept us." And like I said, there's no way of knowing if you don't try. 1 week later,
what are you guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
1 week later, we get a reply for Anime Vegas. You're in. Matt called me like ecstatic. I'm at work at Disney. Like, I'm at work at Disneyland, mind you. I get a call. Like, I run out. It's like, what's wrong? Is it important? It's like, we're in. Like, what? Well, yeah, Anime Vegas gave us press. I'm like, and you fucking doubted me. And you fucking doubted me.
Here's the
anyway,
thing.
I gotta go back to tending to Mickey Mouse, but call me later.
Here's the thing. It wasn't just me and Ryan that got accepted. There was a third person who's since retired. His name is Lucas. He also joined us too as well. So we had 3 people work in Anime Vegas.
Now, with Vegas being this topic here, I wanted you guys to talk about your guys' stories of the conventions you guys gone to. Off camera, Dalton was talking about his experiences in Vegas and how he was up for 24 plus hours.
Yeah.
Kind of go through your guys' experience with Vegas, man, because like not only is Vegas big for like just the night scene, gambling, but I've yet to have gone there for any conventions, so I don't know what it's like to be going to a convention in Vegas. How is that experience like?
Well, honestly, with the way that things have been going as of late, Vegas conventions have kind of been dying down for the anime scene. But when we went, things were still kind of popping. I mean, especially when Anime Vegas, like after that happened, we got invited to go to Otakon Vegas like 3 years later. And we've always wanted to go to Otakon back, when it was
Baltimore.
Was in Baltimore, yeah. Well, it was in Baltimore, but we never got the chance to because getting from SoCal and Oregon all the way out to Baltimore that's damn near impossible on our salaries, at least for right now, or at the time, I should say.
Yeah.
Going from there, it's just now our experience in Vegas. It's like Otakon Vegas was kind of like our experience. At least my first time in Vegas. I was underage at the time.
For
at least
Vegas.
at least I could gamble, but I couldn't really drink or anything or have any fun like the rest of the crew. But
yeah, that was
Otakon Vegas was truly our hangover moment.
Yeah, that was also my first time in Vegas in my life. So and also my third con that I ever went to. Now that I remember, so there's a lot of cool shit that I didn't expect to be in Vegas. Not only just for all of the casinos or anything like that. Pretty much almost anything that you see that is about Vegas, it's Vegas. It's literally everywhere. On the Strip, down to Old Vegas, wherever it's at, you see it, and it's there. I actually have a funny story to tell you. Coming back from one of the raves, I believe it was the last one before the convention ended. I was walking down the street with no shirt because I was like burning. I was sweating because of how much freaking dancing that I was doing. It was literally 65 degrees outside, which is fucking pussy shit when it comes to Oregon. Okay, so like when Oregon gets cold, it gets down to below 20 sometimes.
You see where we're from.
You see where we're from, we actually don't puss out on like freaking 60 degrees Fahrenheit bullshit. Okay, so no, I'm walking down the Strip, nothing on my top torso, so I'm just like fucking like fine. I'm fine. I'm just walking down the street casually, barefoot. Also, mind you, some dude on the side of this bar, he's like, "Aren't you cold?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Oregon." He's like, "Oh, that explains it." That's literally all I get as I'm walking down the street. Just this pale ass kid with no freaking shirt on, just acting like a badass, and he's just like, "This kid's like fucking. Is he on drugs? Is this kid like straight up on drugs? Like, how is he so freaking like okay with this?" It was like I was a unicorn. I was like a unicorn to them, apparently, because
wasn't that the time that you had Kaito's scarf on and you like someone took a photo of you with Cloud's like Buster sword at that one point?
Oh yeah. That was the same day. That was earlier that day, and then after that stopped, it was like late night stuff is what happened, and then I ended up like. I go from being like the weeaboo that I am during the day to straight up like not safe for work 18 plus at night. So that's pretty much where I go.
That's typically Vegas for you though.
Yeah, exactly. But except in Vegas, I do it 24/7. No.
Boy. I do also want to bring up a story. And I told Matt about this one. It was in Otakon Vegas. This is the first time I actually went to a convention in Vegas. And what Ryan, let me get to a quick side note here. Yes, Vegas conventions for anime cons are dying. Otakon Vegas tried it, and in 2014, that was the first time Otakon Vegas was. They tried to do it on Otakon Vegas in 2014, and then after that, the whole hype of that kind of died down. That's why they don't have another West Coast Otakon anymore. But yeah, that was the plan of what Otakon was trying to do: have a West Coast convention to come here for Otakon, but that didn't work out. I don't know about this, but if I remember correctly, it was me and Ryan hanging out, getting drinks or something. We went back into our hotel room, and then we see a lot of Persona cosplayers in our jacuzzi. And I'm like, what is going on here? Matt, do you want to continue?
I remember this day.
Did I walk in on this, or was I still going off and doing my own thing?
I think you were doing your own thing.
I think you were doing your own thing at that point.
I think I was still over at the rave because I stayed there until 2 o'clock in the morning. So I missed out on this shit. So,
I think you did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did. No, yeah, because I came back, and as soon as I came back, you guys were still awake and like drunk as shit, and then you were just like, "Yeah, you guys, bro, you just missed the Persona cosplayers," and I'm like, "What?" Yeah, they were all in our jacuzzi and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they were in our jacuzzi.
Yeah, and what had happened was I bought this half-yard frozen margarita. And I'm just passing it around to all these Persona cosplayers. We're just sipping out of it.
This damn thing was basically, I think, around its neck at one point. Like, I think it actually had a little like lanyard that you can put around your neck, and it had a freaking cup, or it had a cap on it with a straw. So you're just sucking this thing down like it's a Slurpee, pretty much.
And the worst part, that was my second of the weekend.
Matt's been known, and this is quite true among the rest of our crew. Matt's been known, and it's iconic between our podcast, or at least all the different like stories we've done. Matt's known for his benders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is back in 2010. So our first time in Anime Vegas. I decided to go venture up to the strip all by myself. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe Ryan was with Lucas, and then we had two other people with us, Erica and Jared of Scarlet Rhapsody. They were off doing something, so I was alone on the strip all by myself, wearing my Oron outfit, but also wearing Junpei's hat from Persona 3. So I was like hybrid cosplaying. And I remember the night before, it was the day before, like a couple hours before, I went to the a Sailor Moon themed ball, and I received a tuxedo, a Roseman tuxedo mask cosplay, and I kind of wore it. So I was walking around, and I sat down at a mini pie-out table. I don't know where exactly, and someone thought I looked like Dean Martin with the Blaze and the Rose getup. Which is interesting because there were also people there from Wisconsin. They were there for the Wisconsin UNLV college football game. So I was like, okay, so we have a clash of college football people and me, an anime fan, sitting at the same table playing Pike Out. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going around all these casinos. I'm going around Bellagio, Flamingo, Imperial Palace, Bally's, Caesars, and I'm just dropping money wherever. And eventually we get to 3 a.m. in the morning. Now our hotel is the Harris, a little bit up north. It's 3 a.m. I'm at Bally's by myself, and there's like no one around me for maybe like a good 10 feet. It's me and two other people. I'm playing craps all by myself, just sitting there, just like, just drunk at 3 in the morning because in Vegas they give you so much free drinks. I think I drank about a 6-pack of Heineken, just down in Heinekens here at a hotel, dying another Heineken and down. So they gave me a Heineken, and I'm sitting there just playing. I'm not even playing for real. I'm just putting on the pass line, just throwing dice. So I'm just throwing it. I'm just like half-ass drunk. And then finally it's like, oh shit, it's almost 5 a.m. I got to get back and do day 2 of the convention.
Oh, fuck.
So I get back into the room and like, I think it was 5 or 6. I wake up at 8 and I'm good to go. I look like oh, no, I don't. I look really bad as Lelouch. Oh God!
Oh, not this
Yes, there was a very infamous video of me wearing a wig, and I'm supposed to be Lelouch from Code Geass, but I don't look like him at all. It is a really, really, really bad photo. And the worst part is, there's a photo of me on our blog's Flickr page that has me because Ryan was wearing Zero. And our buddy Lucas was Emperor. So we had 3 Lelouches all together, but we all looked vastly different. Yeah. But piggyback off of what we're talking about for 2014 at Otakon Vegas, we also, in addition to doing con, we also gambled, and this is the first forte into sports betting. And during that weekend, we had it was wild card weekend in the NFL. So all right, cool, NFL football.
I like how Ryan is just knowing about what is going on here.
I'm so mad about that day. My ex would not let me bet on that game, and like, I swear to God,
I wasn't old enough to know
I'll
that.
split it in full. So the last day of Otakon Vegas, it was the day game was San Diego at Cincinnati, and I had put a bet on. I think it was San Diego plus 6.5 because that was the spread, and I didn't pay attention to the money line. I think by the end of by like the third or the fourth quarter, I knew I was going to win regardless. Now Ryan said that his girlfriend at the time wouldn't allow him to drop money.
It was actually
How
my
much-
fiance at the time.
Your fiance at the time.
Mhm.
How much did you want to drop?
I wanted to drop like the remainder of our money to go home, like $200. Like,
Yeah. And he wanted to drop it on the money line. Now, at the time of the closing, according to historical figures, the money line was plus 245 San Diego. That would have won him at least $600 going home.
and she
Which
got
is-
mad that I even thought about
You
it.
didn't win that money.
No,
He-
he
he
never
never-
actually got a.
I never got
never
to
got it
bet
in.
because my fiance's like, I swear to God, you bet the money the rest of us going home, I'm gonna kill you by the time we get home. Like, a lot of stupid shit back then, but I don't want to get into it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
No need.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I won my spread bet easily enough to treat Ryan and other people out to Gordon Ramsay's burger.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
the-
dude.
That was a good
Holy
burger.
fuck. That was
was a good
so
burger.
good. I
Actually,
had
just,
the.
actually, just
I'll never
anything
forget.
Gordon Ramsay over in Las Vegas is always good. But
Yeah,
for
dude,
your
like,
for your
holy
money,
hell.
the burger joint is the best.
Yeah.
Now,
If you wanted something that's like kind of cheap, that's Gordon Ramsay's face on it, go to burger, pretty much.
Yeah. But continue on, Matt.
Yeah.
yeah, because the Ellen. So, so I remember Dalton's story about the 24 hours thing. I actually woke Dalton up that Saturday. It was that Saturday at Otakon Vegas because I'm like, "Hey, Dalton, I need you for something." It's like, "What do you need me for?" I need you to hold the camera for about an hour and a half, and that was Dalton's first forte into the blog.
Without me knowing.
Without you knowing, because at the time I needed someone to record the Sumo USA event, and I was taking photos. So Dalton just sat there for an hour and a half. He got up, and I believe everyone else was sleeping.
Yeah, I was the
Right.
only person that got up because of how I am. I'm an early riser. It does not matter if it's 2 hours or 7 hours. I will always wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So Matt woke me up because I was the only one that was stirring about. And he's just like, let's film these fat men wrestling. Let's do it. I'm like, sounds like a blast. Let's fucking go. But it was great.
Now,
it was super cool.
Mhm. Now I remember me and Nate might remember this. We actually recorded the video going back from the con itself to the strip because the strip, our strip hotel and the con hotel were actually different. So we had like a good 10-minute walk. And here's just me holding this camera like this, facing up, and this me and Nate talking. And I remember this is 2014. I was talking retirement in 2017. 10 years. And I'm like,
Right. You keep
Oh, it's so funny how many times
you
you
keep
go
bringing it
"Oh, I'm
up every
I
retired."
keep
time
bringing
we
up
like.
retirement.
Yeah, you're bringing up retirement every time, and I'm like, bro, no, let's not talk about this right now. Let's have a fun time in Vegas or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, you've been talking about that. I remember some of the times you always like, casually just chill. Let's say for example, we go to Fandom, we'll always walk and talk, that kind of stuff before heading back to our
Oh,
hotel
I'm
room.
retired.
Yeah, and then
Right.
I think in this specific moment when we were about to head back to our hotel room, since the way we did it is that Bali's was our hotel room. Planet Hollywood was where Otakon Vegas is. It's kind of like a 2-block walk. So yeah, that's what happened when Matt just continues talking about retirement, and I'm like, why are we talking about retirement right now? We should be just having fun in Vegas.
Yeah, I think it was just me. It was about just my mentality at the time. I think things were going on. I mean, I
Get me a
kind of
Mountain
got
Dew
roped
kickstart.
into some of the stuff that Ryan was
I don't care
mentioning
which
on
one
the
it is.
side, but we're not going to go into that
Or a
either.
Game Fuel.
But
if you can't see it, get Kickstart.
it was
Game Fuel.
kind of a rough patch. And then,
Thanks, guys.
but then I think my lucky star is that we didn't retire because then we got to experience two of the greatest cons we ever went to. One was SakuraCon 2017. The other was a little small convention in Mesa, Arizona called TaioCon.
We'll get to
Do you guys
that.
prefer like smaller conventions than versus like the big ones?
Here's
I'm
the
actually a mid to large fan, honestly. Like, I don't
Yeah.
mind the small cons, but like I'm more mid to large because that's kind of how I like. I grew up with AX, so it's kind of like came with the territory. But these guys, it kind of ranges.
Yeah, because the biggest thing in I remember in late, it was like middle 2014, and I'm like on Facebook and I see this post from TaioCon that says, "Hey, we just picked up 3 amazing guests. Lotus
I thought I
Juice.
shared this with you. I thought it was the other way around.
Okay, so you might have shared this with me. So there was like, hey, Taiyo is announcing 3 major guests: Shoko Harada, Yumi Kamamura, and Lotus Juice. If those don't ring a bell, that's because you haven't been playing Persona in the last 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to not Anime Expo, not Sakura Con, not Anime Week in Atlanta or Otakon. They were going to this small ass convention in Mesa, Arizona called TaiyoCon. So I called Ryan and says, "We are going."
Now, mind you, my ex fiance at that time, unfortunately, like I'm down in the dumps, but like this was like one of the best getaways, and we'll probably go. Like I said, we'll go over this convention on one of our bests. But it was one of the greatest weekends, aside from SoccerCon, that we've ever experienced.
And Nate, I don't know what happened, but you should have came with us. That was a magical fucking
Do
weekend.
not remember what happened back then. I really should have went with you guys. Maybe it was just a financial issue. Maybe I just couldn't go down to Arizona, and maybe it was a situation I think with my finances that I couldn't be able to go there. But I totally regretted it because I keep on seeing your pictures, your videos, all the coverage you did over at TaiyoCon, and I'm like, I wish I went.
and the way that weekend played out, how we got really, really close to them was like a dream come true for me because we could not get this anywhere else. We couldn't get it at a big time convention. We got it at a small, intimate convention. I kind of talk about, hey, I want to see these big productions for Love Live and Persona and Idolmaster. But if I do that, I don't get to see the likes of Lotus Juice or Anchan from Love Live Sunshine or those who are in the up close and personal because there's too many people. With Taiyo, it was the right amount of people, and I believe the attendance was capped at 400, and then there was VIP, and there was only 50 that were sold.
Oh wow,
that was interesting. Yeah, I thought there would be more people that actually.
Oh,
no, a really small convention then.
Well, at least for that performance, I think the overall attendance was a few thousand.
Okay, it was like 3,500.
3,500, but for what that concert was, that really close intimate, I could not ask for a better scenario, especially the fact that we were front row recording the entire thing.
And allowed to do so at that.
And allowed to do so.
Kind of pissed me off when I first found out about this too, because not only did they go over and see Lotus Juice, Ryan had introduced Persona 3 Fez to me not even just like recently, and I became obsessed.
A year and a half prior.
A year and a half prior before that, I became obsessed with it, and that was the only game, including just the PS2 that I had. I put more hours into that game than I would normally put into my most recent gaming system at that time. I was obsessed, and I still am.
Rest in peace, your memory card, by the way.
Yeah, rest in peace, my freaking memory card. God damn it.
Although I was gonna say here, when you guys went to, you guys may have went to TaiyoCon.
I remember
AOD, also did have a. So animation.
Okay, now both y'all are just grabbing photos.
Okay, so stop that, guys. You're just
this isn't a dick measuring contest here, fellas.
I'm trying to tell my story here, and then they're all showing.
You're just like, oh yeah, let me look at this memorabilia that I have. That obviously,
Dalton, we're feeling.
And there's one that's hanging that I can't. There's one that's hanging that I can't really show anybody right now, but at that con, I stole a gathering poster because in addition to seeing Persona, all the people, we actually got to run the Persona gathering. So me and Ryan are credited with running that gathering the year they went. And I took the gathering poster, stole it off the wall, and had them sign it.
Wow.
Now, I could have went one step further and stole the set list.
Oh my gosh.
But it was sitting right there. I'm staring at it, and I'm like, I want to take it so bad, but I might get banned from this convention if I do.
That or there go their press privileges forever.
Press privileges forever.
Yeah, that press will probably be gone. I do want to piggyback on the whole scenario about small conventions. Because the fact that there was another performance of Lotus Juice that actually came here to the Bay Area. If you remember correctly, if you all remember Animation on Display, AOD, around like 2016 or 2017, Lotus Juice actually did come to this to Animation on Display. It was over in Santa Clara, and yeah, we had a fun time, and the whole community of Persona fans that were here in the Bay Area is absolutely huge. Like, a lot of the Bay Area have a lot of Persona fans out here, and I would imagine a lot of people from Sacramento, from like Central Valley, LA, probably came up here just to hear the fact that Lotus is here. So we had a packed concert, and the fact that we also got press on that, we also got press on that, was it on that convention? We were able to see like 30 minutes before how Lotus Juice was performing and everything. So we were like all set up, putting our cameras up, and then we get to see like how the band is rocking and everything like that. So it's like a really star-studded performance and seeing everybody there. But at the same time, like, yeah, at least I didn't miss out on the Lotus Juice concert. I mean, that's really awesome to see.
If you like podcasts like me and want to start your own, use Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is a very effective and easy way to begin your podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, Buzzsprout can help you get your podcast to major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of people to begin their own podcasts like myself, and you can find ideas, tips, tricks, video tutorials to better your own podcast. Follow the link in the description to start your own podcast today. And once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This lets Buzzsprout know that I sent you, and this also helps support Spoiler Force Podcast. Happy podcasting. Do you struggle with eating junk food and late night snacking? Well, I've been using FNX Sports Rebalance Super Greens, and I've been able to control my eating habits, get my daily vitamins, fiber, and loose fat around my stomach area. The Rebalance Super Greens comes in multiple flavors and is easy to use by just mixing the supplement and water. You can drink this anytime during the day and feel energized without any groggy after effects. Use the code SPOILERFORCE, all one word, SPOILERFORCE, and get 15% off your very first order. Now, since we're on this topic here, with the best or worst conventions that you guys experienced just overall this time that you guys worked together, we'll start off with your guys. Like, I know you guys mentioned like Sakura Con and some of the other smaller conventions, but through your experience of doing press and interviewing people, and which we'll get onto that too. But what has been, I guess, your guys' best convention, whether it's something that you guys already said or as a group, what's some of the best ones you guys gone to?
My top three easily, and I think I can agree. I think it's the same. Is Sakura Con 2017, Fandom Con, TaioCon 2015, and then Anime Expo 2013.
Ryan, you're not coming in.
I see your mic, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
There you go.
Actually hit the mute button, but ideally, individually, I think I'd like to say between all of us, my top three would have to be definitely Taio, Sakura Con, and Komori. Honestly, like between CRX and Komori, I always debate, but Komori was just downright like one of the funnest conventions I've ever had to. First time in Portland. I mean, Dalton's been to Portland because he used to work out there, but
yep,
Komori was really something else, and for many reasons of fun. There's also another reason that we had a bad experience at Komori, and we'll bring that up as soon as we get to our bad experiences at con. But as a group, I have to say our biggest moment as the blog was probably AX 2013. I got engaged at that con. I also that's also when every one of us from all walks, whether it was the SoCal division, the NorCal division. Technically, I was still part of the. I was still part of NorCal before Pacific Northwest existed. So we all went down as a group. We all drove down. It was just a phenomenal experience for all of us. Dalton, you go ahead now.
But let's see. I completely spaced just listening.
Do you want me to go ahead and
Komori 2019? I should.
Oh yeah, Komori 2019. Yeah, best conventions. Duh. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I stayed up until like fucking 3:00 in the morning last night because I couldn't sleep. But typical. I'd say top three conventions for myself. I I'd probably say the third would have to be Otakon Vegas. That was like the most fun that I had for that age, for sure. The second one being Komori, because that one was like stupid fun. That was where I was at, my stomping grounds. So I was in my element. Ryan kind of felt like a little bit of an outsider while he was around there because he had no idea where he was going.
For once, I felt like a tourist compared to Matt, who's always the tourist of our group, despite being
right.
Oh, Mister,
right.
Mister, get all my recommendations from 2 TV shows ever.
Mr. came down to Oregon and started orgasming over cheese. Yeah, bitch. You didn't think I'd bring that up, did you? Oh, yeah. Anyway.
And Moose Munch. Don't forget the Moose Munch.
Oh, yeah, the Moose Munch.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, I'd have to say that
pears.
I like pears. My overall best experience in any anime convention would have had to have been CRX, because that was literally the only one that I like I could not stop smiling the entire time. The moment that I had set foot in San Jose to the moment that I left, I was pretty much almost on the verge of tears when I was leaving. It's a tradition between all of us bloggers of the blog that every time we're getting ready to leave, we like to be stupid sappy with a whole bunch of things, and we like to make each other feel sad.
There's a huge thing about
there's a story behind it. I'll gladly tell it.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Oh no!
So
this
is way.
Don't cry now, Matt.
That's like no, please, for the love of God, I don't want to feel this right now.
Okay, first off, we want to put the feels now because when you put this song, whenever Ryan puts this song up, we just get into emotions here.
Yeah, he has to do that. Fraba, God damn it!
All right. So before we do this, the story was
he
that
started singing it himself.
Before everyone came about, there was these times that Matt would come down for AX. It started out in 2010. Was it 2010? 2011?
AX?
No, it was 2010.
2010.
He used to be like, one of the things he used to do was like, instead of me driving him around, he would always want to drive my car around. So there were times when he would like begin to leave or think he was leaving, but it was always that one trip to the airport or the train station or whichever at the time that I would always play something kind of somber, or at least kind of sad, just like it's like the end of the convention, it's the end of the experience. But unfortunately, anytime I tend to play something at the end of a convention, and it's kind of almost a tradition now, that Matt cries.
Yeah, waterworks happens for sure.
Right.
We have a very deep bond between a lot of us.
Oh yeah,
and through the years,
I would stick to that. We're just absolutely bonded. Like the fact that we're a team and we're a brotherhood here in the blog itself.
It feels great. It really does.
After many years of us like kind of uniting and taking apart, there's been several versions of Matt crying, or at least the whole blog kind of like crying because of how it sucks to like just tear us all apart. Like, I kind of feel like we're like the Toretto family and like, the O'Connors from Fast and the Furious. It's like anytime we hear "See You Again," like we're just all traveling our separate ways. Just that one part where we all split up, we all just start crying. But
once that happens, frog in the throat for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot.
I have to say one of the most iconic of everyone crying though, and this is the one I set up out of nowhere, and I got a phone call from not only crying but pissed off from both Nate and Matt. Was a trip to the airport to SeaTac.
Right.
From Sakura.
When I had to leave early. Yeah.
When you had to leave early.
Because we have a playlist. We have a playlist of songs.
That's also another tradition. Like every convention we go to, there's always a playlist that relates to something that's either going on at the convention or at least relatable to the town or the city that we're in for the convention. But
and there was one song I was not allowed to play. It was the very last song in the playlist, and it was called, let me make sure I get this name right. It was called Dropkick Murphys Until the Next Time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not listened to it at all. I had listened to everything from Your Name, Future, Love Life, but not this song. So about 10 minutes before we get to like the terminal, I put the song on. And I think
I also typed in, like, put it on.
Remember, Matt willingly put the song on.
Right.
No, because I was told to by Ryan at the end of the convention. And I'm playing it, I'm like, oh God.
No, he knows.
Yeah.
The realization, he knows.
And so I'm just bawling my eyes out.
I was a witness. I was a witness to this because
Seriously.
I was a witness to it because I was sitting right next to him once he dropped me off to the airport. And to be honest, we were both bawling at the same time. Just the fact that we really are going to miss each other, especially when it comes to a big convention like SakuraCon. We were absolutely
Do you want to pull up the chorus real quick?
No.
No, it's okay because I don't want the podcast to get like
copyright.
Copyright.
Yeah, I don't want him to get fucked over because
we want to get trouble for that. Yeah.
But no, I played the song and then I played another song when I went back. It was called Lucas Graham 7 Years.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
What are you trying to do here?
It made total sense because the year was 2017. I started the blog with Ryan in 2010. So it hit doubly as bad. And then you throw in Red Wimps in Your Name. You just throw in any instrumental from the last part of the movie. And I'm just sitting, driving back, staring at the Seattle skyscraper, just bawling my eyes out. I'm like, what are these feels?
What are you trying to do? Like torture yourself with all the sadness and stuff? I'm like, dude.
No, bro. He's living sad boy anime protagonist life. That's what he's living.
That's the way here.
Yeah, that's all of us, bro. We're all sad boys when it comes to our brethren leaving each other.
But in the end, I know that when I'm with you, I'm at home. Yes, I know that when I'm with you, I'm at home.
He's mentioning a song from Ruby. And it's like one of those really somber parts where like they've been torn up and then they finally get back together at season 4. That song plays. I played that at the end of Fandom back in 2019. Was it 2019?
That was 2019.
I played it at the end of Fandom 19.
That's right.
I sent it to Nate. I sent it to Dalton. And then by the time everyone's all synced up, I swear to God, it was terrible. It was lovely. It was beautiful, but it was terrible because everyone was.
It was beautiful, ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah, you can say that.
No, I'm not even joking. It literally sounded like 4 walruses dying because of how much mauling we were doing. Like, holy shit.
Listen, I know that like in Fandom, for example, all of us. I mean, we were all a team in this, and we were all doing our own press coverage and everything. Yeah. We always have to meet up at the end no matter what. And
yeah, of course.
We all we do just, have one little huddle before everybody leaves, just play that one song before we all go. We take I took pictures of this too, like last year when you guys start leaving the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah, that's probably like one of the most memorable selfies we've ever taken on the blog. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
I was so fucking happy.
It's a selfie of all of us, and at the same time, I also took pictures of you guys just leaving the Marriott and just putting it in black and white, just saying like until we meet again.
I saw that.
Until we meet again.
Yeah.
How cute! Oh my God.
But yeah.
No.
I want to just add on to what you guys are saying. It's really awesome to see how you guys are all close like that as a team. That's what makes your guys is like anyone that's like content creators, anything like it's what makes doing this passion so much easier, right? When you have your man of brothers or whoever you're working with, and to know that you guys can all rely on each other, because I've had some experiences where I was on a team with some people too. I've had some fallouts too. So, but to hear your guys' experience is so great, and it's really positive for anyone who's listening to know that it's much better to be with a team than to do things individually. With the team, you guys can always have someone to rely on. You guys, have experiences like this, being sad boys or like, creating memories with the group like that. I think it's amazing that you guys can do this with each other, and for being, a team for this long, it seems like it's a really great experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if honestly, if honestly we can continue this when we all have kids and they continue on the legacy, like that would be something. But
you're goddamn right.
To set it
You're
off to our,
right.
next generation. Yeah, I mean, I would love to, have the blog continue on with our next gen. If
I'm not even
possible.
joking. I feel like I'm going to be like Lieutenant Hughes.
Oh boy!
Seriously. No, not the bad part. Not the bad part. The only good part, which is the part where he's like, "Have you seen my daughter? Here, haha!" Like that shit. That's pretty much what I'm gonna be like. But
why haven't you cosplayed Hughes yet? By the way,
because I'm ginger. That's why.
They give you a wig.
Yeah, I can. I need to get those. I need to get those rectangular frame glasses, man.
All right, so with all the good cons and good experiences you guys have gone to, what's some of the worst cons you guys been to? Let's get into that.
Let me go.
What are some of the worst conventions?
Let me go.
All right.
I know you guys have some experience, especially being as pressed too.
I have 2 conventions that I want to bring up. One of them is actually really close to me. Literally, like, I live in a Tri-City area, Fremont, Union City, Newark. If you guys are in California, there's this convention called KinyubiCon.
Oh God, this story.
Immediately.
What kind of story should I bring up on this one? I mean, there's just a convention that looks to be big. They had big guests. The one year I actually went, which was with Stephanie Se and I'm blanking out on the guests here, but one year they actually had a good guest list, and they were at the Hilton over at the Newark Stevenson area. I didn't have press then, but I had a good time there, just having fun with friends. But I also noticed there's a very low attendance count when it comes to this KinyubiCon. And it's like around 100 to 200 people that came in, and I'm like, wait, why are we having a convention in a big hotel that takes a lot of money, and you're having this much a guess of attendance? You kind of made a bad investment there. Plus, you also had big special guests, so I'm pretty sure that's a lot of money as well. From there on, KinyubiCon kind of dipped, and that whole convention just pretty much went from a hotel to a community center to another community center, and so on and so on. It was just not. I mean, like, even if I get like press, I get like, I'm close with a friend who's also a part of KinyubiCon. If I get press because I get like advantages because I'm his friend, it's still not worth it to go. And then another con I also want to bring up is, I know that we're maturing. I know we're getting older. SAC animes, as out of recently, have been more towards the younger generation at the moment. So when you go to a convention where you're older, you're kind of more mature and things like that, you kind of got out of the face of that. I remember one year in particular where was it, if I remember correctly, when Homestuck became a big thing? Yeah. Oh, no, there was one year at SAC Anime where the Homestuckers really put a big dent on SAC Anime. I remember they like got crazy over a statue over at the Sacramento Convention Center, and they took off a statue out of its pedestal. And I'm like, what the fuck did you guys do? I'm like, this is a bad rep for SAC Anime, but at the same time, you are crazy. Like, yeah, seriously. What the hell are you guys doing all this kind of stuff? But yeah, I mean, those are the 2 convention stories I want to bring up. I mean, KinyubiCon, not the best con. Literally not the best con. And SAC Anime, I mean, like when I was in SAC Anime, when I was young in SAC Anime, it was great. But then when you get older, it's just started to get like, okay, this is not for me. So those are my 2 conventions that I want to bring up.
And to add on top of the Homestuck thing, wasn't there another thing that happened where there was like a whole large group of Homestuckers?
I'll talk to you. I want to bring up that story for just like one little second here.
Yeah.
Anime Los Angeles in the Marriott, a bunch of Homestuckers with their body paint decided to go into a jacuzzi, and the jacuzzi kind of washes up that paint, right? So what they did is that they stained the whole jacuzzi from the water to the pavement and the water system, which kind of ruins the whole jacuzzi moment there. And that's the reason why ALA is now at a different area than the LAX.
Oh,
that's crazy.
We're now in Ontario, which is like 2 hours away from LA, instead of just being in LA now.
Two
I still don't know
potential
why,
conventions nearly destroyed by homestuckers.
Mm.
Like, holy shit.
There's a lot of Homestuck story, and I know Tech Anime has a big.
No offense to any.
He had a big fandom of it.
No offense to any
Now-
actually like people of the fan base that actually follow that, but like there are some. Yeah.
Now you mentioned Anime Los Angeles. If you're okay, Ryan, I'm going to tell this story. 2011.
2011. So Anime Los Angeles?
Yeah, it was when that happened.
Oh dear Lord. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So ALA 2011. This is my second year with the SoCal Host Club, but that Ryan and I were running at the moment because then what happened was after I
My
got back
former
in 20,
girlfriend.
yeah, your former girlfriend in 2010. I kind of took over in a way, but I had all the pedigree of what I was doing at the blog, and I took over. And in a way, our greatest moment then was Anime Expo 2010 when we had a line for our panel, being informative about who we are, and then we actually had an event. So it was like, how did the hell we go from here to ALA 2011? So we decided to do an event with Anime Kanji's maid group, and we were kind of doing maid versus host battle. But we were gonna do a bunch of games to see who could win the most, and we were serving everybody, and I was having a blast. And in the blast, I broke character as Maury because I was just doing so much fun. And all of a sudden, here comes Ryan's girlfriend, and she bitches the fuck out of me in front of all these people.
Not proud of this, by the way.
Not proud. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And so I'm like, and I cried my eyes off because I had put so much passion into the Soka House Club. So I was just devastated. So I remember I bought a bottle of Hennessy for this convention. And this is 4 p.m. Saturday. We just got done with the event. Guess what Ryan found me doing at like 4:30?
Chugging it.
We're in the same room at this point. Like my ex was at in her own room with her friends, but I come back to the room and it's just like there's a whole bottle of Henny gone. Like, Matt, what have you done?
Oh my god.
He fucking downed the whole bottle of it.
No, it wasn't fully gone. It'd be fully gone by that night, but that wasn't my proudest moment. And I would say if I had to pick one Matt convention, it would probably have to be ALA 2011.
I don't really have any cons I had I really hate or like don't really want to go to, or at least I can say bad about. I have a lot of bad like con horror stories. Ideally there was a time where, continuing on from the SoCal Host Club, actually, as a matter of speaking, we got invited to do a panel, actually do an actual event at San Diego Comic-Con. And mind you, this would have been an ideal San Diego Comic-Con for me because I've never been. And like, of course, being San Diego Comic-Con being one of the largest like pop culture geek kind of like culture like convention there is anywhere on the planet, I would have had fun. The only problem is that in the time I was transitioning between leaving California to Oregon, there were some former friends and former associates of the blog that, unfortunately, because they didn't see eye to eye with how me or sometimes how Matt ran things, they abandoned me in San Diego.
Oh shit,
boy!
I had to literally like find a way back. Although at the time I lived out in Palmdale with these people, and I had to find a way back. And fortunate enough, Matt was able. It was Matt having at a family reunion, as a matter of speaking. I'm getting not only chewed out by Matt at this point, but he was under the impression that I got rid of his camera, or at least I lost his camera. And then it's getting worse. And like Matt picks me up and saves me pretty much for a short bit. I returned the camera, which they were lying about. But by the time then, it's like I had to find another friend to get me all the way back to Palmdale, to like LA Palmdale area. I get home and I get pretty much the biggest ultimatum. You got to leave by the morning. I'm like, we still have like the event to do. It's like, no, you're out. It's like, I run I run this club. I was like, no, you're not. It's not part of the club. You're out of this house. Like, flat out, you have no, like, good luck. Pretty much go live on the streets in your car or whatever. I don't care, but that's it. And that's not the first time they abandoned me. They abandoned me at AX in 2011 too. But I mean, outside of that, any prior experiences that were terrible, I have no real big con gripes outside of that.
So most of the time it was just like a personal thing then, right? Besides not just the con itself, but like outside factors that happened to you guys.
Unfortunately so. And here's the really crappy part about it. Due to their personal agenda and vendetta, Matt pretty much broke his friendship with me for a whole year and a half before I had to dig up enough evidence to prove that what they did was wrong, but also what they slandered my name. They slandered everything about me. They were pretty much just saying like, oh, you know, he's just a piece of shit. He's not good. He shouldn't be on this blog. He should be fired. Like, I gave this blog foundation, and the fact that they got me thrown out of it for that amount of time was probably one of the like shittiest years of my life, because not only did I have, prior to moving from California, I lost two of the most influential people in my life, my grandmother and my godmother, who passed away that 1 year apart from each other. After moving to Oregon, I didn't go to any cons because I didn't have press, or I couldn't get out to like different places, and it just got really bad. It wasn't until like I dug up the evidence and Matt actually saw the light that, you know, not only as a team, but also it gave more foundation to the blog. That, see, there's a positive out of a negative in this story, is the fact that out of finding the truth, it really made our bonds stronger. And I'm glad for that. I'm so grateful to be a part of this team. And I'm just grateful to still, you know, be even here in this podcast right here and now.
And that's really good, man, to overcome that, especially, you know, when you got people trying to throw you under the bus like that too.
Yeah, just generally being around a whole bunch of shitty people like that is very exhausting.
I think the fact that I didn't even heard about the story until, you know, when I started joining in later, I didn't expect it to be a convention blog that was like under the ropes and all. And then getting into this when I was around 2011, 2012, I want to say I was a part of trying to rebuild the structure of what was the CaliCon blog then, because because if I remember correctly, Matt decided to let go of everybody that was fucking with you, Ryan, and it literally was just you, Matt, Ryan, me, and a couple of others here in NorCal, and from there on we started building it up again, and this is the blog that we are at now.
You must weed out the loose ends of like all the corrupt bullshit until you're finally a small group of very trustworthy people.
Now,
which we've achieved very well.
Now, leading up to bad experiences, I have maybe one of many gripes of AX. Maybe I do have one thing to say about AX. Is just, and Dalton can agree with this at times.
Yeah, it's going to be a part of mine.
LACC has not, even as press, or at least even trying to get into certain events, that they wouldn't let us in the door, even though the convention was open, or at least a certain event was going on. It's like, oh no, we're closed. I'm like, excuse me, the manga cafe is still open. Like, we just need to get by. It's like, no, you can't get in there. It's like, I'm pressed. Do you understand what that means? Like, I'm not trying to act entitled, but it's like, I'm pressed. I'm trying to cover this event, or at least cover this, part of the convention. I need to get in there, and it's like, well, you can't get in. It's like, they just thought my badge was fake. It was like not even real. I'm just a normal attendee. I'm like, it says press. How could you not?
My God.
Like, how could you just not give me access? Like, I had to go to. We eventually found an AX staffer that let us in, thank God. But outside of that, there's not been that many bad experiences. Now, Dalton, go ahead and continue with this bad AX story.
Okay. Same thing. It's roughly around the same time that this is happening. 2011, 2012. 2011, 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. 2012. I was actually looking at the pamphlet of what is actually happening at that point and moment, and the manga cafe and or the manga library that was open at the moment of like 8 o'clock in the morning, that was advertised in the actual catalog of what you could do during the anime convention. And what they kept saying, what LACC kept saying, is that no, you're not allowed to come into this place because we don't have jurisdiction over that, or we don't have permission to let you inside of the building. We were waiting in a line since around like maybe 6:45, 7 o'clock in the morning. And we had already been waiting.
Very bad.
I had to use the bathroom really bad. So what ended up happening is that I am very surprised and relieved that I did not get a bladder infection because of this. I literally sat there and I waited over an hour and a half while having to hold my bladder to where I couldn't actually use the bathroom at all until one of the AX people actually said, yeah, you can go in and use the bathroom. What, they're not letting you do that? And I'm like, no, LACC is literally saying that they're not allowing people inside of this convention right now when there's obviously things that are happening. So what the one thing that I would probably put that towards as my worst experience is that not only was AX staff telling everybody a different story, so was LACC. They seemed like they were segmented, and LACC almost felt like that they were hired right at the last second because they needed added security. That's what I feel like that they needed. So they were just
no
like
communication whatsoever.
Yeah,
at that
no
point.
communication whatsoever. Even like con-going managers that were actually like taking charge of all of the events and all of the booths that were going on and everything. They literally actually, at one point in moment, I think I was actually away from both Ryan and Matt at one point, but I think it was just me and Ryan. I can't remember. It's kind of
you, me, and James.
Me. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was away from our buddy James and Ryan for about like maybe an hour or so. I literally saw 2, if not 3 AX managers talking to 3 other individual LACC members, talking to them about why are you spreading all of this? Like, why are you telling people you can't come inside? Why are you doing this? Like these were like normal, like I'd say grunts, quote unquote, I guess, if you want to call them, of the LACC. They weren't like actual like generals or anything like that, if you want to call them that. But basically what ended up happening is like 3 managers just started tearing into these fools. And I was kind of snickering while I was walking by because I was like, haha, fuckers, you're finally getting your just desserts, because now instead of treating me like shit, now you're getting called out on your bullshit and I'm laughing at you. So that's the best part. So I felt a little self-redemption on that part. But like, it was the miscommunication between both of those two that really almost ruined my entire experience. Not only did I have to sit in bladder pain for over an hour, which is not fucking healthy. They basically treated everybody like garbage. They made, I think when we were getting our badges at that same one too, I think we stayed in that line for over 3 hours. Was it because they were like delaying it and delaying it and delaying it because they were just like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on? We don't know what's going on. Oh, this is happening. Okay, now we can actually do this. 3 hours later, I think they were actually late in opening up the doors for people to get their freaking badges. It was just a shit show.
If I were to piggyback on this,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Dalton.
I was gonna say, don't feel sorry, Ryan, because like it's not even your fault. It was pretty much everybody over at the anime convention that was just making everything sour for everyone. It was just a whole bunch of people being power trippy. And that's the one thing that is kind of shitty, because I may have not ran into that again after like Anime Expo, but I hope nobody ever actually has to run into that type of thing, because it's the shittiest thing that you ever have to deal with. But yeah, that was the only one time that security was shitty to me. And
I actually just remembered I have a bad EX experience, but I'm gonna let Nate tell his story real quick.
No,
yeah,
I'm not gonna say a big story. It's just the fact that like Anime Expo has just been I don't know what. It's always, every time that I ever go to AX, there's always gonna be a bad story coming up. Going to Aqu Wars, there's a big line going to get just merch for Aqu Wars. There's trying to get tickets for the Aqu Wars content, because what's kind of weird is that when they register us to get tickets for a concert, we still have to go to line in a line to pick up like the pick up paper tickets or something for it. And so we have to wait in a line also to get tickets, which is like, I don't want to do this in a blazing hot sun because they always do it outside. And I'm like, you really have to consider the attendee here. The people are going to get heat stroke. People are going to get sunburned. Yet they don't do that. And they let us still keep us outside. And we're waiting in the hot sun, trying to get through trying to get through the clusterfuck of attendees trying to get their tickets for just a concert. Luckily, we were able to do that. But the really shitty thing about that is that what happened when we were in line, there was another line that was also forming up closer to the Microsoft Center. And I'm like, can you just like told me that before so we don't need to actually stand up in this line? They just continue on improvising a lot of stuff. And I would say for everybody here who have ever attended an anime expo, you're going to have a horror story no matter what. Either it would be with the staff, either it would be with LACC, or with just people with other attendees in general.
Yeah,
I mean,
or sheer organization too, because sometimes that can be a shit show.
Right. I'm just saying,
AX has this bad infamy because we hear about it every year, whether it's through press, whether it's through like the different podcasts or the news articles that we have to hear about,
or just through social media. Just like your friends are pretty much going to be telling you a lot of stories about how bad AX is.
We follow a lot of people that do still attend anime conventions, even when we didn't go.
And you know what? I really hope that Anime Expo actually lives up to what all the comments are, because Anime Expo looks to be a big convention. It's just not living it up to what the convention is supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can agree with that, because when I was being told about Anime Expo, I was told that it was like the best anime convention ever. When I went there, kinda, but when I went to CRX, it's like up here where my experience was like down here. So it's like, I guess it just depends on how they carry themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not controlled or if it's not organized, it's going to cause chaos. And not only that, it's also going to make a lot of otakus angry.
I would say this after our coverage from 2013, I think it just continued to fall downhill from there.
I agree. No, dude, straight up. It was like a hot dumpster fire, but it was on a freaking roller coaster and it proceeded to just fly into a goddamn river. I don't know. Like, it's a giant shit show now. Like, it's so bad.
So I'll end off with the last part of this and then we'll move on. But ideally, I just did remember that there is a bad AX experience I had. And there's another reason why I dislike AX is there's always, as we were mentioning, just that bad miscommunication. I was a member of press in 2016. Dalton was there, but we were at a different event. I was supposed to cover the supposed Kiss / Momohiro and C concerts.
Oh, here we go.
I had my ticket. I was press. I was communicating with the press manager at the time, and there was not just me, but the local news outlets, like News 7, News 4. There was a bunch of other people, like
national media.
Plus, there was the other press members, and Staples Center, not Staples Center, but it used to be the Nokia Theater at the time.
Microsoft Center.
The Nokia Theater at the time before it turned the Microsoft Center. They weren't letting anyone in the Nokia. I'm like, what's going on? Like, we're showing our badges and like the tickets that were given from us from press. It's like, these aren't the right tickets, and you guys can't get access in here. You guys can't get into the concert. We're waiting out at the VIP line to get in because we all have the proper stuff, and then we're all talking, we're all emailing, we're all like texting the press manager at the time, like, what's going on? Why can't we get in? Like, what's going on here? Like Nokia staff saying that we can't get in. Like, what's going on? And like, we're trying to talk with them, and they're like, you're not getting in. And it's like, eventually, like an hour and a half later into the concert, mind you, Paul Stanley is leaving the building. Paul Stanley from Kiss is leaving the building. I'm like, so wait, did we miss the whole concert? Or at least did we miss the Kiss part of the concert? Paul Stanley's just like, paparazzi, kind of like, hey, everyone bye, and then just taking off. By the time then the press manager gets to us and say, like, you need to let these people in. Like, these people are proper press. They have the right credentials, everything else. why are you stalling these people? It's like their badges are fake and these aren't real tickets. Yes, they are real tickets. And then like by the time they had realized that by the time that we showed the right like they showed the credentials and we had all the people of the press to get in, and all the credentials were correct, it's like the concert's practically like halfway over with already, and we're getting in, we're barely getting seated, and I'm like, during the whole time, I'm trying to text my friends or at least text people who are press that did get in for some reason. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, what's going on in there? Is everything cool? Is that concert over with and everything else? It's like, it's just a whole shit show. By the time we get in, I get to enjoy maybe half a Momo Eero Zero before they just take off because the concert's over with. I could have been more pissed off in my time as a press member, or at least at AX during that time.
And I think roughly right after like 2 minutes after that happened, you had called me up furious. You're like, dude, you will not believe the shit that just happened.
Matt had the worst end of that phone call.
I'm sure he did.
Oh,
like
God,
I didn't like
I
the
remember,
aftermath of that.
Yeah, and because it's like 4th of July weekend and I'm not at AX, I'm just relaxing. I get a phone call from Ryan and it's like, oh God, what the hell's going on? But yeah, that was really horrible to hear about that, and the fact that we had something that was just God. I mean, I had an opportunity to go watch Garden of the Words at AX 2013.
Oh my God!
The Makoto Shinkai film, but because there were they had 2 different lines.
Sorry.
There were 2 different lines to get in, and I was stuck in another line to get food at a food truck. So Nate didn't get to go watch Garden.
I should tell you about this too, about the Garden of the Words premiere, because I was, what's weird, because I showed my badge to those people that those staffers that were holding up the line and everything. I told them hey, I'm pressed, can I go in? I'm like, no, you can't. And I'm like, dude, I'm pressed, I have all the credentials and everything. They just said no, you still can't get in. I'm like, why? You just wait in line. And I'm like, wait, I'm pressed. So I have to be waiting in line where all these people are just continuing to go in and all that. They don't have any special privileges to events again, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's again miscommunication with staff and everything. I'm a person who could be here and give you coverage on all this awesome stuff that's happening here at Anime Expo. But if you're giving me the door, then there's bad publicity for you right there.
Now, go ahead. Finish the rest of your story.
But you know what happened after that? Me and Matt at least met up, and then we went to the 21 Up Lounge over at AX, and at least Makoto Shinkai was there, so we at least got an autograph from him. So see, that wasn't a bad news. This wasn't bad, but it still was a bad experience there, but good experience after that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to carry on, I don't want to end the podcast on a bad note with these bad experiences. To add on to what Nate was saying, you got an autograph from Makoto Shinkai. He's probably one of the best out there for sure. This last topic I wanted to talk about was who has been some of the people that you guys have met, whether they're celebrities, voice actors, directors, who has been some of the best that you guys have met in person, whether it was like an interview or just a brief moment, who has been some of the best?
I got a really good one.
I got a couple.
It can't be a top 5.
Who wants to go first, guys? There's a lot of good stories.
I'll go first because
I'll
go first because someone was going to piggy off. So of course the trio Lotus Juice, Shoko Harada, Yubi Kamamura, Tayo Khan.
That had to be one of mine and your best experiences, at least out of our time.
Gen Urabuchi. The person behind Fate Zero, Thunderbolt Fantasy, Madoka Magica at SakuraCon 2017. That was wonderful.
Right.
I had the opportunity to meet up with Mary Elizabeth Gwynn and Richard Epcar twice in the last 10 years. But the one that will always resonate with me would be Anime Expo 2013. This is way off the cuff. This is nowhere near the convention. So we're looking for something to eat on day one, and we go to this spot, and we go to this place called Fat Burger, the one Fat Burger on in the LA area, and we're waiting for our food, and all of a sudden I see this guy. He looks awfully familiar.
I noticed him first, and I'm like, Matt, wait a second. I know we know him.
You know him.
I'm like I look down the necklace and I see the beard. I'm like, that's Harley Morrison from freaking Morrison's freaking Epic Meal Time. I'm like, We're still in the middle of like ordering our food. Mind you, we're doing one of the big like Fat Boy challenges or like one of the Fat Burger challenges. But I'm like, we gotta go see him. We gotta go like at least like ask him if he'll like take a photo of us. And like we walk up to him. I'm like, excuse me, are you Harley Morrissey? And like, yeah, like Sauce Boss himself, you bet. I'm like, oh shit.
Dude, I can just picture it in his voice, dude. Like for sure.
If it wasn't just me and me and Matt were fanboying, eventually I think Nate, didn't you and Amanda eventually get a photo?
I remember this moment like wholeheartedly. I remember when you and Matt just went up and just said like, "Oh God, guys, it's Harley Morrison." I immediately went up, tried to get a picture with him, and I was in my Death the Kid cosplay, by the way. So I was putting a peace sign up just to say hi, have my well respect of how to pose in a picture. And then he put his fingers like here, and then I tried my best to hold the laughter. Just like, I mean, it's a picture that's also in our blog right now of how I met up with Harley Morrison, tried to do a little peace sign, and then this is the picture that he did with me. And I'm like, bro,
this is in you, man. That's what he wanted. That's like the funniest fucking shit ever. These fools got to meet him. I didn't. Yeah.
But okay, you get to meet some unique people, Dalton.
Oh yeah, I did for sure. I think I have like a top 3 of the people that I've met for sure. First one being Nolan North. That was like the best experience.
I was actually your first celebrity like meet and greet, or at least like
that was my first. Yeah, that was my first one. So the coolest part about this entire thing that made it like the best satisfying thing ever.
I was looking for this one.
Yeah, he was. Ryan was with me on this one, so he was in a separate line trying to get, I believe, Troy Baker's autograph or something, and I was in a line for Nolan North at the time. I was trying to get stuff signed for like Deadpool and like what else? I believe there was like I was trying to get your Last of Us thing signed too. That's right. Because he was one of the side characters. Anyway, one of the attendees, or not one of the attendees, but one of the floor managers was telling me that you cannot have more than one photo and one signature per guest. So when I was going up there, I'm like, shit, I have 3 things that I want signed, and I want like multiple photos. The coolest fucking dude ever. Okay, so when I get my scrawny ass up there and I'm like timid as shit, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'm dressed up
Yosuke at this point.
Yeah, I'm cosplaying Yosuke from Persona 4. Nolan North literally looks up at me and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Ken?" From Street Fighter. I'm like, wait. Oh,
he's doing it in Deadpool's voice too, mind you.
Yeah, he was doing it in Deadpool's voice. So the coolest part is that when I first got up to him, I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I have 3 things that I need signed. Do you mind? And do you mind if I take a photo with you?" He's like, "Yeah, bring them all up here. I'll take a few photos with you. I'll even do a video with you. Why not?"
Oh shit.
I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a god. Okay, why not? So I got all 3 of my things signed. I ended up taking a photo with him. He got up out of his seat, proceeded to walk around his booth, and actually stood right next to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and I basically stood right next to We have a video of this on YouTube, on Ryan's YouTube, and he recorded him playing Deadpool as himself and his inner voices talking to me as Ken from Street Fighter. And he basically starts spouting off as like, he just randomly goes into it. Like, I'm like, I have to ask, can you please voice Deadpool for me? And he's like, absolutely. You got that camera rolling? He pointed over at Ryan because he had his phone out. He's like, holy fucking shit. Hold up. So he got his camera ready and he proceeded to just basically do a whole 16-second snippet of him just playing Deadpool in front of my face, raw and uncut. And we basically got like, that was like mind blown at that point. My first autograph session, I basically get treated with like immense kindness from this guy. It's like, not only did he feel like I was his best friend, it felt like that if you met him on the street and you accidentally asked him for a cup of coffee to hang out, he probably would. He might actually fucking do it because of how nice he is. Nolan North is a treasure. He's awesome. Okay, let me cut this down to 2 because I don't think the second one's going to amount to the first one that is just going to stay in my head forever. Ryan was also there for this one.
Though,
I met one of my icons, like one of the idols that I fucking like. I'm a huge fanboy over this. If anybody who is watching this knows Vocaloid, Hatsune Miku, anything like that, she is the third Vocaloid that I got to meet, which is Megurine Luca, and it was Asakawa Yu, right?
Yeah, Yu Asakawa or Asakawa Yu, if we want to say it by Japanese terms.
Yeah. The moment that I find out that she's here, not knowing, mind you, I did not have any knowledge of this at any point of moment when I first came into CRX. Ryan literally told me as soon as I set foot out of the car, he's like, dude, I don't know if I should tell you this, but your fucking Vocaloid idol, the one that actually provides the singing voice for the one that I love, basically is here. And I have one fucking chance. And I'm just like, okay, no, I fucking have to. There is no way in hell I have to. And this is also going to go into another thing that kind of ties into KomoriCon. I'll make it quick. But after I got done in the line, it was finally my turn. I went from being shy and timid to like the most fucking like, I was shaking because of how excited I was.
Use a puddle of butter at that rate.
Yeah, no, seriously. I came up to her. I was super polite. I was like, do you mind if I get a photo with you? And do you mind if I like put my hand on your shoulder? She's like, absolutely. Come over. I'm like, holy shit. Okay.
She doesn't speak English either.
No, she actually spoke fluent English to me too, which was like the most weirdest fucking feeling. It fucked me up for a second because I was like, I'm pretty sure she understands me, but I don't think that she's ever actually going to be. She would probably like nod or something like that, right? No, she was just like, absolutely. She's all gesturing to me. I'm like, like as soon as I did that, her assistant was like, yeah, here, give me your phone. She took 2 pictures. One that I didn't really like, but the other one that I generally had the most joy on my face and was the most like actual smile that I had. It was smile from ear to ear, and I was
This is like the most lit up I've ever seen Dalton, by the way. Like this profile photo was like not changed for like a year and a half.
It did not change for a while. And also when I got into the blog, Matt called me up or hit me up and he's like, I need to make you a business card. And guess what happened to the photo that I got taken of myself? It got put on my business card. So now it's actually my genuine reaction being next to somebody that I absolutely adore with like, it's the best thing ever. And now another thing, like I said, I'll make this quick, but during one of the interviews over at KomoriCon, I was shitting my pants because I'm actually like in front of 2
on the blog. Actually doing
first time on the blog, yeah. First time on the blog, I'm inside the booth with 2 Japanese guests, and I'm intimidated. I do not speak any of it. I try, but sometimes it fucking fumbles. Anyway, nearing the end of the interview, they asked for our business cards, so I bring out my business card.
Studio Trigger that we're interviewing.
Yeah, Studio Trigger. So it's like there's like freaking Kill la Kill and stuff like that, right?
Yep. Pretty much anything Kill la Kill. Like,
Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill. Okay,
animes.
Yeah, right. So nearing the end of the interview, as I was handing my freaking business card,
give our business cards.
Yeah, as I'm bowing and giving my business card to who was it specifically? Was it freaking
it was Wakabayashi-san.
Yeah, Wakabayashi-san.
Yeah.
That's right. As soon as I handed my my business card to him, he exclaimed for a second. He actually was like, huh? And he actually recognized the person that was on there.
We actually have this through a translog that we couldn't put the video or at least the audio up, but we have the audio still. And if you listen carefully through the audio,
The translator, not ventriloquist,
The translator.
the translator. She actually asked Ryan and I who this person was because he recognized her. And once Ryan said, Asakawa Yu, he's like, Asakawa Yu? I'm like, I'm like shitting myself like on cue. I'm literally speechless, and I'm actually smiling again because not only within a day that I got to meet my idol, this motherfucker basically complimented my business card. I don't mean to call you a motherfucker, okay? Sorry, no respect, but no disrespect, no disrespect. No, but like. He generally actually liked my business card because of the reaction that I had standing next to her. He said that it was really humbling.
Unquote. I've never seen anybody with a business card where they're actually happy and actually happily enough to give their business card to me. I'm very humbled by that.
Yes. He was actually humbled by my general reaction of meeting somebody that I was excited about. And that's what I chose to put on my business card, which was the best, and if not the most memorable milestone of any anime convention that I've been to.
I'll sound off last. Nate, go ahead and tell one of your favorites.
Okay. There's a lot of stories I actually have to get through. I mean, meeting up with a lot of guests, I would say Sakura Con 2017 was one of my best conventions to go to. I mean, I already said that already, but the fact that we met up with so many guests over there, we met up with John Yan Bosch, we met up with
Matthew Mercer,
Christina Marie Cabanos, what else again? Erica Mendez. One moment in particular in that convention when I talked to Erica Mendez, who was the voice of Nico Yazawa from Love Life, SIF. I talked. Yeah, you want me to do that right now?
Yeah, you could.
Look, okay, I see it with your Maki there. Okay, so second favorite,
You
by the way.
fucking degenerate.
We can still see Nico in the
Shut up,
corner,
no.
Nate. It's okay.
I'm playing.
Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Okay, anyway, let's continue with the story. So I talked to Erica Mendez. I told her about her voicing Nico, and the first thing she says to me is like, "Nico's actually not my favorite idol." I'm like, right? Like my jaw dropped. My jaw dropped. And I'm like, wait, so who's your favorite idol then? Then she told me Maki was her favorite idol. So Matt wins that one. And no, the interview still goes on, but it still lingers in my head that Erica Mendez voices an idol that she doesn't like, and I'm like, okay, this is ironic, but okay. And then what happened over at CRX in 2019 is also one moment of mine. If you haven't known me by now, I love idol animes. One idol anime in particular that was a big feature in CRX 2019 was Zombieland Saga, and they actually brought two of the voice actresses from Zombieland Saga. What was it, Sakura Minamoto and Saki? Oh, sorry, that's Kaede Hono and Asumi Tano, their voice of Sakura and Saki. It was really interesting to interview them first because literally when I came into CRX, I was on day one and I missed out on the panel, which kind of sucks because I know Dalton and Ryan were already there waiting for me. Right. But the first things first, we went to our hotel room and then immediately went to the press room to talk to the voice actress and the CEO of MAPPA. Yeah. So we talked to them, interviewed, and all that good stuff. Then when I went to get their autograph the next day, I was able to actually get through the line and not, get clustered. Well, the first things first, we actually have to get tickets for that autograph session itself. So we had to wake up really early. And mind you, during conventions, you stay up late, like really stay up late. So I literally had like 3 hours of sleep on me, had to go downstairs, get a ticket, and I'm hoping that MAPPA didn't get sold out because everybody was going there for Junji Ito that whole convention. All of that has always been sold out, but everything else did not, surprisingly. So I ended up getting a MAPPA autograph ticket. I got it, and then went to wait for my time to get an autograph. I went up to MAPPA, the MAPPA CEO and the two voice actors from Zombieland Saga, and they know me already. I'm like, okay, wow. Like I just met you yesterday. We interviewed you, but you will still know me. And they said, yeah, you're that one guy. I don't know what it is, but it was like kind of a star-studded moment that they still remember me and everything. I'm like, whoa, interesting that you still know me. I would expect a lot of guests that cosplay and all this stuff, but apparently I'm being recognized a lot. And I guess that was a really star-studded moment for me, just saying like, they still know me and they gave me an autograph, which is great. So yeah, that was like my two great moments because, like I said, we meet up with a lot of people, a lot of English voice actresses and a lot of Japanese staff as well. And I would imagine all of us would agree here. We would love to go for the Japanese staff more than the English voice actresses, but either way, no matter what, the guest lists are always amazing when it comes to conventions we go to. Fandom, Komori-con, Sakura-con, CRX. And we do what we can to at least meet up with them and have a good time with them.
Absolutely.
I'll give a top 5 at least. I mean, I can go on for like days about how many people or how many famous like seiyus or at least voice actors I've met over my time, but I'd probably have to say starting at 5 was getting the chance to actually sit down.
I'll hold you up there. This is the poster that they signed. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Top 5, starting with 5, getting the opportunity to actually sit down and meet Flo and actually have them autograph my their best album. Just getting to like talk with them, but also like get to just like sit down for a second and actually get a photo with them was like, mind you, we've seen Matt. Actually, Matt, Nate, and I have all seen Flo at least what 3-4 times now.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Rip Flo concert 2019, 2020.
Also, you would have had it last year.
I know. Damn it, COVID-19.
Yeah. Getting to meet Flo, getting to number 4, probably getting to meet. Definitely get a passionate sit down and meet Lotus Juice, Yui Kawamura, and Shiyoko Harada. I mean, we're all of us at the blog are huge Persona fans. If I'm going to make a really odd statement here, but if a lot of us aren't Filipino, we're all big Persona fans here.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry, Dalton.
Friends.
Yeah, that's where Dalton.
That's where I draw the line. I can't really. I can't really agree with that.
Persona fan, no matter what, it's all good.
Exactly. And hey, I'm the token ginger because hello, I'm comic relief.
Number 3 is actually was number 4.
3, the 4. You said 4 was Lotus Juice, so 3.
Lotus Juice. Number 3 is actually getting front row, and mind you, this is like the biggest event for the blog ever, outside of the Persona concert. Was getting into when Hatsune Miku was first played in America at AX 2011. That's our current hit. How many people have seen that video, or at least that concert that I filmed, was probably not only one of the most breathtaking things I've ever seen, because I'm a huge Vocaloid fan, but I'm definitely a huge Miku fan. And just getting the fact to see that up front and just actually being there for the first time was very eye-opening, but very like I was starstruck and I was having such a blast. We're at what, almost 1 million views on that, just on that one video, Matt?
I'm checking right now. Give me a second. Go on.
In the meantime, number 2, getting to meet Karen Strassman. Now, Dalton was with me on this one.
I was.
And this was at Komori-con last year.
This is one of our interview videos, I think, maybe.
Our interview with her is on our page too. But ideally, I was very humbled to meet Karen Strassman because she's like one of our favorites from the Persona series, but also many others like Code Geass.
Absolutely.
Just a lot of roles that she's done over video games, for instance. But there's a lot of things that we got to meet and actually talk to her about, and she was actually like rather surprised by a lot of the variety of our questions. It was probably one of our best interviews that we've ever done, and it's kind of like the way I put it is like I don't know if you're familiar with like the YouTube channel First We Feast and Hot Ones, but we had kind of like a Hot Ones interview where it's like she never had an interview like that before, and like she's very intrigued by our questions, and like I was very humbled by that, and just the fact that we got to sit down with her was probably one of our best interviews that we've done. And I still quote to this day, it will be one of the best interviews that we've done. My number 1, and God forbid, I think a lot of us can say this as well, or at least the good 4 of us here, if anyone grew up in this era, or at least started with the Moe era, we all watched one point or another. Someone of us have watched the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Last year, I got the pleasure of meeting Aya Hirano and getting her autograph.
Mhm.
I
remember that. I remember that. You were really,
Dude, you were starstruck
onto that,
afterward.
man. I know you were starstruck. I
for
remember
sure.
Ryan was really starstruck seeing Aya Hirano and getting that autograph too. So
He was in Loopy La La Land for at
I
least a
remember.
good, at least a good like hour.
Where Dalton was with Yuasakawa, I was with Aya Hirano because
I agree.
I got the chance. I almost had the chance to meet her at 07 when she went to Anime Expo in Long Beach, but I was like the next person in line. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to cut the line off. I was like, I'm right there. Are you really? It's like, no, we have to cut the line off. So by the time 10, 11, no, it was 12 years later, I actually got to meet one of my idols and one of my like all-time favorites from anime, like all the anime history. I got to meet Aya Hirano. I got to talk to her for like a good 5 minutes, and to this day I have a framed poster of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya with both her and Wendy Lee's autographs. So both sides of Haruhi have signed my poster, and like I couldn't be more of a happier otaku than last year.
Man, those are some really great experiences, man. Thank you guys for sharing that. And before we close here, I want to say thank you. Oh, Matt.
Oh, but before I go, the Miku concert footage has 133,000 views.
Wow.
And
We're getting there.
it is the number one. It's the number one viewed, and actually, a lot of what Ryan posted has been like the top viewed. He has video from 2016, 50K, 2015, 15. He did a lot of stuff for like Kill la Kill that has like almost 10,000 plus views. So Ryan has pulled more than his weight can handle, and I really thank him for all of that for during one part of our coverage.
Yeah, as I was saying, thank you guys for being on this podcast. It's been great to hear all of your guys' individual experiences and to hear your experience as an overall team. I hopefully we get to do another podcast like this again. And
I'd love to.
I'd love to do it.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be great. I just from your guys' experiences on this episode, I really was intrigued. I couldn't, I didn't want to say much because you guys had great experiences. So, before I close things here, was there anything you guys like to shout out and plug before before we end this podcast here?
Well, obviously the California Conventions blog website. Hey!
I can go through that. So you can go to our main website. That is www.caliconblog.net. We also have a Facebook page. That is facebook.caliconblog.net. We also have a YouTube page, which is youtube.caliconblog.net. And then we're also on Twitter and Instagram at CAConblog. So you can go there. When we're not posting stuff for con on our Facebook, we do a lot of like random posting regarding like cosplay and convention news and just random stuff. Like I know. And it's anything that's anime related that we care about. I know Ryan, for example, posted something about a major Akihabara staple closing, and I posted about some random 2-hour live stream of like pachinko. And I'm like, cool, there's cosplay in it, but it's a 2-hour pachinko ad.
Rest in peace. I get a building 2 in Akihabara. I never got to go.
Should have went there last year.
Yeah. That's our main page. I'd love to say that, given the fact that we haven't done any major conventions in 2020 due to COVID, a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about here, we're trying to build on it and make sure that when we get to 2021 that we have all our kinks out the way, that we are doing more stuff, and hopefully when we can get back to a physical convention, we want to be back to it, so, and we want to see everyone out and about and having fun and hugging everybody, and that day that I could just go and hug Nate again and just cry and be like, we made it to. I don't know what con we're going to.
We made it to where we were going, which is
going.
right
We made it to
here.
Fandom 2021. Hey guys!
Ironically, we're Pacific X is here too. I mean,
Huh?
like, we could have met up at X again, but that didn't happen.
Maybe if things lighten up, let's see. I mean, I would love to go back to AX. Hopefully, it's not going to be less as crowded as it is before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully, when things clear up, hopefully I get to meet you guys in person too. At AX.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to see
that
you.
would be great. Yeah. Dude, do a live podcast from AX. That's something.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
You
That'd
can
be
go
awesome.
to AX, and then we all can go to Roscoe's afterwards.
Hey, down.
Dude, I'll bring my Osmo and we'll all do a live
It's a SoCal staple. Every time we go to SoCal together, we need to go to Roscoe's at the end of con.
Roscoe's, Weebs, and Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
and our night around one.
More in LA.
With Initial D.
Roscoe's, Philippe's the original, and Shinsengumi Ramen House.
Oh,
she said
fuck.
Gumi was so
Dude,
good.
Yo, don't even get me fucking started on Shinsengumi, my dude. But,
All right, so thank you guys so much for this opportunity, man. I really enjoyed this, having all of you guys here. But for the listeners, definitely check out their website. I'll have all the links to their website, their Facebook pages, and social media in the description as well. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force Podcast and to California Convention Blog as well. And thank you guys. Thank you, Matt, Dalton, Nate, and Ryan for being on this podcast. I can't say it enough. And
it's a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you, Ricky.
It's been an honor, Ricky. Thank you.
When I get you guys back on the podcast, man, I can't wait to talk more about this stuff with you guys. And to everyone who's listening, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And have a good weekend. And thank you for just being a part of this opportunity and on this podcast and watching all of us grow our content. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. For comments, questions, or criticism, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at instagram.com/rickyvang92.